Aloha, and welcome back to Mauna'ōhi Ridge. We're here in the southern Ko'olau Mountains on the island of Oahu. And we're trying to restore some of the native plants to this landscape. This used to be an incredibly diverse lowland dry forest ecosystem, and over the past few hundreds of years of human activity, pretty much all of that has disappeared and been replaced by non-native and invasive species. Primarily this guinea grass and haulikoa and lots of other kinds of non-native shrubs and trees. So what we're trying to do is kind of, replace that and restore the appropriate native species that would have been here. And it's quite a challenge. The soil is really degraded, and it gets really hot and dry here in the summer. So we're about to enter that really dry phase where the grass gets really crispy and becomes quite a fire hazard. So if you're familiar with the devastating fires that have taken place on Maui, this is pretty much the same kind of grass. We have guinea grass, we have buffalo grass, so the fire risk is real, and part of this project is, to restore a more lush, shady forest that can hopefully resist that, and then also to kind of create a fire break for our house. So, but the main goal is to try and restore some of these native plants to the landscape, it seems like things are going pretty well here. We've got about 20 species of native plants, most of which are endemic, meaning they're only found here in Hawaii, found nowhere else in the world. And most of them are also endangered, and many of them are critically endangered. Fewer than 10 individuals left in the wild for some of these, and their populations are dwindling. So we need to start planting them out and start restoring these ecosystems. So that's what we're doing here at this site. It's kind of a small area that we're working with, but it's adjacent to this, large, pretty much neglected fallow land up there on the ridge. So hopefully, the little area that we control down here might have, an influence up there, and, some of our seeds might spread up there and everything. So, anyway, I just wanted to do a video update here showing some of the progress and some of the work that I've been doing. So like I said, it gets really dry here in the summer, and so, that's kind of one of the limiting factors here. And to combat that, we're doing lots of mulching and trying to build soil which can absorb more moisture and, retain a lot of that moisture through the summer. And that's kind of a long-term thing. We started out basically clearing out all the non-native species and then creating these sort of retention structures, rock walls and swales, and also just kind of like brush and stick piles laid out on contour, so that when there is heavy rains during the wet season, that moisture, all that water can be retained better, and also all the organic material. So we're building soil, trying to retain moisture, and that's really helping our plants, our native plants, to survive and thrive. So if you look around, pretty much all of these plants in this area are native. When I got here about a week ago, there was a lot of non-native stuff, a lot of grass, and I did a lot of work just to, prune that out and then sort of just chop it up and drop it on the ground. So you can kind of see here, there are just like little piles of decomposing branches and leaves and everything, just surrounding our native plants, which will provide them nutrients and, help improve the soil. So things are looking pretty good. Now you can kind of get a better, clearer picture of the native vegetation that is starting to return. We also planted some more stuff. You know, we had some things growing in pots that we grew from seeds, and they were big enough to plant out, like this tree right here. This is a willy willy tree grown from a seed, and that seed was collected from a local remnant population, which is kind of over there on that mountain in the distance. And you know, I think that's important because this tree occurs all throughout the Hawaiian Islands. It's called willy willy, but you know, there are distinct populations and each one kind of grows in a different habitat. So I think it is important to try to get the local ecotype, you know, which is most adapted to this area. And, you know, that has a lot of benefits for biodiversity and everything. But we're not limiting ourselves really. Like, you know, we're basically planting what we can. And above all, we favor the, you know, appropriate native species. And then, you know, any other native species that might be able to survive up here, we'll plant those as well, because this is just a highly fractured, highly fragmented ecosystem. So, you know, it's quite a challenge, and we're working with what we got. You know, so if you look around, if you pan around, you'll see quite a few things growing around here, and they're starting to mesh together, which is what I want. You know, trees, shrubs, ground covers, all sort of combined into a forest ecosystem. And you know, it's providing for lots of insects and birds, and you know, hopefully some of that is native, but you know, like at this site there's just tons of non-native and invasive species from all around the world. So you know, it's just a pretty crazy amalgamation of all kinds of different things. But hopefully over time we start to, you know, favor a more native dominant ecosystem, and you know, we're seeing some good successes. So here's a nice Mauna'ōhi. Here's another willy willy tree over there, and then there's kind of a patch of Ilima growing up here. So starting from over here on this side, we have this hala tree, which will grow into a big tree one day. We got this Mauna'ōhi, which is looking really good. You know, and it's covered in all kinds of seeds. So hopefully, you know, I'll try and get those seeds into some pots and start some more of them, and then kind of just let the rest scatter on their own, and maybe they'll sprout out here in situ. And then let's see, we planted this Koki'o ula, which is a red hibiscus, which is endemic. And then we have these Mauna'ōhi shrubs, which are doing really good. And I definitely want to propagate more of those. And then we have this Pu'alo'alo, which is another native member of the Malvaceae family, and some willy willy trees. And I've been really starting to propagate more of this plant, which is called Ili'e. This is an amazing native ground cover, kind of a sprawling ground cover. Eventually it gets kind of, you know, large, like it can be kind of shrubby, but it just sends out these long vining plants and makes these really nice white flowers and very sticky seeds. So potentially, you know, it can stick to birds or animals and be dispersed in that way. And then I've also been planting more ule, which is definitely an appropriate native species for this area. This is the Hawaiian rose, and it's also more of like a sprawling ground cover to shrub kind of a thing. And then we have this Awe'aweo, which is a nice native shrub endemic to the Hawaiian Islands. And this Ko'aia tree right here, which is doing really good. Hopefully that one survives to be, you know, a big tree one day. And then over here we've got some ma'o, which is Hawaiian cotton. There's quite a few of them over here actually. And you can kind of see, if I can get over there, some little ma'o seeds right there. Little brown, rusty brown cotton seeds. And then there's another ule in there, which is doing really good. And then right here, is a really cool plant called akoko, also ekoko, I think. But yeah, this is a weird euphorbia, which is native to this hillside here. And then, let's see what else we have. Oh yeah, we have Mauna'ōhi, which is a nice sort of sprawling ground cover morning glory down there. And you know, down here we have some more ule right there, and an ilima, and another koki'o ula, or red hibiscus. Oh, and then this is uhaloa, which is one of our native plants that's just sort of common around this site. You know, I didn't plant this, I'm just encouraging the wild population of that one. So yeah, things are looking really good. There's a lot of diversity, and it's starting to mesh together, you know, into a coherent kind of mass forest situation. So that's good. There's a willy willy and another koki'o ula. And then here's a Mauna'ōhi, which has an aviki vine, which is like a jack bean, endemic to Hawaii, growing up it. So that's cool. Hopefully that one makes it. But yeah, you can see I added some mulch. Most of it is just branches and stuff that I cut from around that area, and then also some mulch that we bought. Because yeah, like I said, we're about to enter the dry season. It gets really dry, and the mulch is crucial. So then moving up here to kind of the top corner, a lot of this is weeds, and I didn't do a whole lot in here, but there's some ilima right here with some nice seeds on it, and then some more ilia'e, some willy willy, and then over there there's an a'ali'i shrub and some more uhaloa. So you know, it's looking really good. And I kind of pruned up some of these non-native tabebuya trees and dropped the material on the ground. And you can see it makes lots of leaf litter, so, and shade, you know, so it's nice in here. And then I have this fence, which is deterring the pigs. I think if they really wanted to get in here, they can, but it's deterring them for now. So anyway, you know, I've made quite a few videos on this site, but I just like to, you know, keep making updates because it's evolving pretty fast. And, you know, hopefully one day this will be a nice native forest. So anyway, I'll try and keep this one short. You know, if you have any questions or ideas or suggestions or anything, just leave a comment. I'd be, you know, more than happy to discuss with you about this stuff, and, you know, try and get people excited and inspired to do this stuff, you know, especially in these kind of lowland, dry, leeward sides of the islands here in Hawaii. Like you know, these sites are just so invaded, and they just lack any native plants. And, you know, not just these kind of like more wild areas, but our landscaping and our lawns and our, you know, yards and everything, there's just hardly any native plants. And it's kind of a shame, because we have some of the most incredible endemic plants in the world that are endangered, and a lot of them are just easy to grow. They're gorgeous, you know, and they're really important both culturally and ecologically. So trying to get people excited about it. You know, I'm really excited about it, and it's really great to see the success here at this site. You know, a lot of these trees or a lot of these plants are clearly establishing, and, you know, they don't really get any supplemental irrigation or anything. Every once in a while my dad will spray it with the hose, but, you know, it's pretty much just relying on whatever rainfall occurs here and just kind of the natural you know, weather patterns. So I'll try and make more videos and update as much as I can, but I'm not here very often, so it's kind of few and far between. is why I made such a long video before. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Yeah, and I'll try and make some more videos sometime soon. Aloha.